What is up, YouTube? It is Diehard here. Now, I'm bringing you a Call of Duty gameplay, and I know that I told you I was weaning off of it, but I have a kind of head cold going on, and I kind of wanted a longer gameplay so I could just kind of talk. And so today I want to talk about, uh, like it's gonna be a little weird because I'm not going through the first steps of it. But what happens after you get any form of success or any type of ego with what you're doing? And it's kind of in relation to like colleagues, feds, and stuff that for the wrestling show stuff for the WWE games, but it happens on the Call of Duty games as well. Um, and I ended up just a little foremention here. I went 45 and 28. This was hardcore domination, and I think I ran the M8A1 the entire time. But anyway, so on to the subject at hand. What happens when you do get a little bit of success? Because it relates in a lot of different ways. Before I really started doing the YouTube stuff, I was, I started working from home. I was doing online advertising. I started in March of 2012. That's where I started. I started in March, and I started working from home. And to get success, you have to have a plan. That's how you become successful. When you have a plan, you can become successful. And so I was like, you know what? I just want to make $300 a week. When I started working from home, that's all I want. I just wanted $300 a week. I could live off that. I was like, you know what? That's good enough for me. Well, I got the $300 every week very quickly. Within my first week, I made $400. So I had already met my expectation. Well, then I told myself, I was like, you know what? I want more. So I was like, I need like 500 or more a week. And so I applied a little bit more effort into what I was doing. And, it was working fine. Everything was going peachy. Money was great. I made more money last year than I think I've ever made in my life. But it was super cool. I felt good. Every day was a good day. I wasn't really playing on my Xbox or on the PS3 or anything. I was just focusing on my marketing. I was just focusing on making money. That's all I cared about. That's all I wanted to do, and it was good. It still is. I don't focus on it as hard as I used to or as much as I used to. I used to focus a lot of my time on it, and now I barely focus any time, which is really shitty for me to do. But so what happened was I became successful. I started leading a team of 2,000 people, and I was like, okay, well, these 2,000 people, they need this training website, and I had to do this training website, and that was kind of taking my focus off of my marketing a little bit, but I was doing okay. I was still making at least 500 a week, and people were like, oh, well, they don't know me as Diehard, they know me as Anthony or Tony, but for you guys, you know me as Diehard, so they were like, oh, well, Tony's making, still making $500 a week, he's still doing really good. And I was still doing phenomenal. I couldn't believe the success I was still having when I wasn't focusing that much. And so I went to an event in September in California, and so I got to meet 1,500 people that worked from home just like me, did almost the exact same thing I did, except they blogged daily, And I got to meet the owner of a company named Empower Network. His name was David Wood, and I got to meet David Sharp as well. They're both co-owners of the company, and they pay a large portion of my at-home income to me still to this day. I still receive that income, and this teammate here made me mad, so I shot him. But so I ended up. I was like, this is so cool, and we had like this sit-down session, And at the time, I was only making like $200 a month in reoccurring income. It wasn't a whole lot that I was making every month from that specific program, and so I was very timid with it. I was like, well, I don't really know how to market it. And David Wood and David Sharp sat me down and they were talking to me and they were like, look, it's all about pushing yourself to the limit. You got to push yourself to be successful. And so what I took from that was paid advertising. So I started running these ads in business magazines. I was like, oh, hey, start working from home, and these ads were expensive. These were $3,000 ads, for 30 days of runtime. Your ad would run in their magazine for 30 days, and then it'd be toppled over by a different ad. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. So what I did to offset the cost, I mean, I could afford it, but I wanted to offset the cost. Now, if I would have paid it myself, I would have gotten all the profit to myself. But I contacted my team, the people I personally brought in myself, and I was like, look, I'm going to start investing in running paid advertisements in a business magazine. If you're interested, depending on how many people decide they would like to take part in it, we'll split the payment evenly between everybody, and we'll split the dividends the same way. And it worked. It worked great for 4 months. After that 4th month, though, a lot of the people started trying to focus on other businesses, other forms of business, and I was still focusing on that one primary form of marketing, for Fortune 500 companies, running advertisements. That's what I liked doing. I didn't like the other products. Or it wasn't that I didn't like the other products, I just didn't want to do the other products. And so I was like, you know what? I was like, I just really don't want to do those. And I didn't want to pay the full $3,000 to run my ads, so I stopped running the paid advertisements. Well, then by near the end of 2012, I told myself, I was like, well, I kind of want to, get into YouTube. I was still doing my advertising and stuff, and I wanted another stream coming in. And so I was like, well, an easy way to start garnering my success is to do paid advertisements. So I started looking around on YouTube ways to do paid advertising, and I came across Google AdWords. And Google AdWords, like, you get views and you can get subscribers from it, and it's like everybody has access to it in their YouTube account, but it can get pricey. It can get a little bit expensive, and that's kind of what happened. I was spending $600 a week for AdWords, for my videos, and my videos were getting hundreds of thousands of views on this channel. I had videos I got like 100,000 views, 80,000 views, and people then those in the community started saying, "Oh, well, you're doing this. You're boosting." I wasn't boosting. I was paying Google. I was paying Google to pay me. That's how that worked. I was paying Google to pay me because I was running AdWords on my videos. I can show people the campaign slips if they really want to see them. I don't think that's any of their business to see my credit card information, but if they're that worried about somebody else, whatever. But so I ran those. I still run those to this day. I don't spend nearly as much anymore. I just run like little $50 campaigns. I don't spend $600 a week anymore. It's expensive to do that. I was making really good money at the time when I started doing it, and what happened was I had applied for partnership with Machinima, and I hadn't heard back from Machinima yet. And the same day that Machinima replied and sent me a contract, Fullscreen contacted me, and RPM contracted me, and then so did Union for Gamers. Well, I looked at the RPM one, and I was like, maybe I'll think about it. Well, then Fullscreen was like, well, this is Creator X, how do you feel about that? And I was like, you know what, I like it. I like the name. I like the contract they offered me. A very nice contract for me. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Fullscreen, and so I did. And I continued to still run the AdWords campaigns, and I'd started declining in how much I was running them, and I don't run them nearly as much anymore. I did run it for a little bit. I think I ran like a $5 or $10 campaign on how to play domination objectively, but that's because that was a video I felt was really good and people should know how to play domination objectively, and so I did that. And it still, to this day, it still gets views from that campaign, and that campaign isn't even active anymore. I haven't had that campaign active in like I think a month, but that's what I did. That's how I got partnered. I started running paid advertisements through AdWords, through Google. I got the exposure I needed, and I got partnered. So contrary to what everybody believes, I wasn't boosting. I was using a service provided by Google that they talk about on their videos. I mean, if you go into your YouTube account settings and you click on the promotion tab, it says set up Google AdWords for videos. That's what I did. And so in that sense, though, now it comes to the last little part, and I know I've kind of been rambling here, but after you get a little bit of success, what happens? Do you have to become a douchebag? Is that the way that the world works? Do you have to be a douchebag to be successful? No, you don't need to be a douchebag to be successful. And this is kind of like, this isn't a rant video. It's not, I swear. But there are people that think that they're successful, and they become little douchebags. They think that they're like the best ever when they're not. Or they start spewing shit out of their mouth, and they don't know anything about you or what you do or who you are. And whether this person watches it or not, or this group of people, this entity watches this or not, I don't care. It feels good for me to get this off my chest, because so many people have it misinterpreted of the way that my marketing works and the way that I do things. I'm sorry, I look at YouTube like a business. I do. I look at YouTube like a business because I make money from YouTube. So I'm not gonna treat it like it's just a hobby anymore. It's not a hobby. It's never really been a hobby for me. I mean, making the full wrestling show has always been like a job. So I treat it like such. You know, if it got to invest to make a little bit of money, then so be it. But yeah, so if you do become successful, guess what? You don't got to be a fucking douchebag. You do not have to be a douchebag to be successful. That's just the way it is, guys. You can be a super nice guy and still be successful. It's very possible to do. People do it all the time. I do it all the time. I don't do shit up to people because I'm partnered. You know, I mean, unfortunately, these people that are trying to do shit up, they're not even partnered. They're just like random people that are celebrating their 100th subscriber. Congrats. But anyways, guys, so I'll see you next time, and next time it won't be a Call of Duty video. It's going to be a WWE video, and I got a special guest coming on with me. So this is Die Hard, and I am out of here.